It's on air. So welcome all my subscribers. Tonight's special guest on the One-to-One, this is the 17th episode of One-to-One, is Mr. Thorn Draven. And I know that we've had Thorn being interviewed by Crimson Fantasy's channel a few weeks ago. So Thorn, can you explain a bit about your channel, what your channel's all about, please?
Absolutely. Well, basically, we're mostly an outdoor channel, but we're fairly random, mostly vlogs. So I say we're an outdoor channel, but really we just kind of follow along with what we do in life and what we do with the kids and everything. So you can get anything. I've kind of dipped into video games lately because I'm looking at something, if that's going to be something that I'm going to do in the wintertime, when we're kind of isolated inside a little bit more. But yeah, mostly right now in the summertime, we're a lot of outdoor stuff.
Yeah. So are your children now on school holidays like they are in the UK?
Yes. Yeah. They're on summer break. So now the kids are kind of like all over the place, and we're busy and random. We've got one of our oldest boy, he does cadets. Well, they all do cadets, but the oldest boy, cadets, is getting more involved, I guess, as you get up higher, as you get older. So he's doing camp this summer. He's already gone for 2 weeks and come back, and meeting people. Right now he's at a friend's house for the night that he met at camp last week. So that's kind of cool, right? Yeah.
So the cadets, what do you mean by cadets? Because is it like boys scouting, similar to that?
Yeah, it's like I would say it's military based.
Yeah.
So they do like marching drills and like they learn about tying knots and the lower end military entry level stuff. And then it breaks as you get into higher levels, it breaks off into sections. So there's air cadets, sea cadets, and those are the two that I know of.
Yeah.
But yeah, so my oldest boy, he's in air cadets now. And we're at a big air base in Greenwood and got to see some of the big planes and stuff. Super exciting for them.
And do you get a chance to go and visit him there while he's away?
We didn't go to that one, but he'll do drills sometimes. He's in what they call corps, I think.
Yeah.
So they do like competition drill, which is marches and stuff like that. And we go to that.
Oh, that's good. That's good then, So all your children are the outdoor type, living in where you live in Nova Scotia.
Yeah, we try to be, fairly outdoors, as much as we can, obviously.
Yeah, because I mean, so watching that interview with Steve, you mentioned that you make the most of the summer, because in the winter, when it gets rather cold up your way, you don't go out a lot. So
yeah,
have you got a lot of footage that you've got to edit for the winter months for your channel?
Well, I didn't exist in the wintertime, my channel, last winter. We were basically just a watcher at that time.
Yeah.
So this will be our first real winter, and we're just going to play it by ear as to what kind of happens. Because I live by a place called Ski Martok, which is a ski hill. So, and our kids do that. I don't ski and I don't snowboard. I'm not very athletic in that way. But our kids love the snowboarding and stuff like that. So we do go to the hill so I could get some of that.
Yeah. So,
lower in the winter.
Go on, Thorn, yeah.
But yeah, it is definitely in this country. It's slower in the winter. We get hit, we can get hit by storm after storm after storm, and that does slow things down.
Yeah. So when do your winters start then, approximately? After Christmas or before Christmas?
Yeah, like Christmas time is pretty well. We're getting there now, and it can vary from year to year. It's extreme here. Nova Scotia's, we're basically an island. There's a land bridge, but we're basically an island stuck out in the Atlantic Ocean. So our weather is extreme. We get really hot weather, in the summertime, and we get really cold weather in the wintertime. It's all over the place. And sometimes it can be great, like no snow till after Christmas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But there are years when there is snow much earlier than Christmas.
Yeah. I think we've been fairly all right the last couple of years in the UK. We haven't had a lot of snow. They've been fairly mild winters.
We've had some good ones. I think it was 2 years ago, though, we got hit with 6 feet of snow in March, which is almost unheard of in March, but it was crazy.
It would be at that time of year. Yeah. So I noticed when I look back on your channel that you started 3 years ago. You put one video up 3 years ago about wood carving. You did a few wood carving objects, which were very good. But that was 3 years ago. So what happened between 3 years ago and 4 months ago? Because that's when you really started putting up a lot of videos, a lot of live streams, a few vlogs, days out. So why did you leave it 2.5 years?
I don't really know. I guess it was probably testing the waters, or just, you know, it was something I had tried. I popped the video up. There was other videos, but they're in private because of different copyright and stuff, right? Like in the beginning, I was just doing videos for like my kids and like family members, and I put them on YouTube and have it private so that I didn't get in trouble, and then I could link people to it to see it if they wanted to, right?
Yeah.
And I think what really happened was I kind of stumbled on the community, or people that were involved in a YouTube community, which until then I was just kind of watching mostly large YouTubers, like the guys that you don't really get to talk to, you know what I mean? Because they have 1 million subscribers or something. So you don't feel that, like, the involvement in that one-to-one with those type of people. But then I kind of like started watching these smaller YouTube people, and I seen how they communicated back and forth. And that's kind of, I was like, man, I should try that. I should get involved with this. This seems interesting, right?
Yeah, yeah. Can you see the chat windows as well?
Okay, yeah.
Because I see your friend's on from Hawaii. She was the first one to comment. We know.
Ranelin.
Yeah, Ranelin. So I'll say hello to Ranelin, Jenna, DJ Ian. We've got, what, 7 viewers. Ice Lolly or someone like that, I noticed. So then, Thorn, you did the 2 years ago. It was a pumpkin carving. So you mentioned that you're not into hockey on Steve's one-to-one with you, but you mentioned that it was where hockey started, or one of the places where you live. Where I presume that's ice hockey we're talking about, and not ordinary hockey like we have over here.
Yeah, that's ice hockey. Funny story for gardeners out there, or anybody. Howie Dill's Atlantic pumpkin seeds. So he's the first one that grew the Atlantic giant pumpkin, which was like 700 pounds. That would be my grandfather-in-law. He married my grandmother. So I'm related to that family, and like people, especially in the States, they buy those seeds all the time. I see it all the time. It's kind of funny because I grew up like going to the farm, and like that's a family member in a way. Well, it is, not in a way. So that's interesting. But the interesting thing is that the farm that they own, the Howard Dill Pumpkin Farm, has what's called Long Pond. And Long Pond is known as the birthplace of hockey. Now, it is disputed because it's one of those things, you know what I mean, that everyone kind of lays claim. Don Cherry, he's from Kingston, Ontario. He believes that hockey started in Kingston, Ontario. So it's hard to dispute with somebody like that. But, you know, it is here. It is an official site of hockey. And my relatives are like hockey fanatics. Like, I'm like black sheep for not being a real sports guy.
Can't help the way you are, so definitely not.
Nope, can't fight it. Never really had interest in it. It's not something that, you know, I'm interested
in. We've seen your art on your channel, and when you were talking to Steve as well, you mentioned your art. How long have you been interested in painting, drawing, or etc.?
I've been drawing forever.
Yeah.
So just that was an interest since I was a little kid on my parents' living room floor with, you know, crayons and whatnot. And I just invested time into it and stayed with it to a point, and always kind of honed my skills that way and developed them slowly over the years. I went through long sections where I did not progress as an artist, where I was frustrated at kind of the level that I was at, and because I was kind of under where I wanted to be. And then all of a sudden, you know, you can go 5 years and then all of a sudden something will just click in your head, and my art changed. And that's kind of how I've developed my art over the years. I've taken time away from it. I don't touch it much. I tend to do art in the wintertime more. Once again, you're inside, it gives me something to do.
So what do you prefer, drawing, oil, painting in oils, or watercolors?
I prefer pencil. Yeah.
Pencil. Yeah.
Pencil and charcoal, same deal. It's cool too. It's grayscale. I love grayscale. It's a little easier to do for me. The whole colors and the way colors change in the sun. So if you were to do a landscape picture and then the sun cascades across the land, there's a scientific like equation essentially as to what color green is when sun hits it at this angle, which is probably like orange or red, which is, it just, I don't know. I find that really complicated, and I'm obsessive about stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it drives me crazy.
Yeah, we can see from your photography how much you're into colour, because the reason why I ask is that my son-in-law is one of the best painters of black Labradors in the world. Although he paints other things, he's world known for black Labradors.
Which is the right?
And he's been an artist since he was, what, 15 or 16. And no training, no formal training. It's all like yourself, no formal training. It's a gift.
Yeah, it's amazing. And you know what? Don't say that, Keith. I'm going to let you in a little secret. It's not a gift. And generally, artists don't like to hear that.
Oh, no.
We were not given it. People think we were given it. And most artists, they worked very hard to get to the level that they are at. Yeah.
Well, it's like being a YouTube creator then. You work hard to build your channel up, to improve. Yeah. So I get your point there. I fully agree. So I do apologize for that.
It's not a big deal, but it is something that people, they assume when it comes to art that it was something that you were born with. And perhaps the thing I personally think that you were born with the drive to do it.
Yeah.
So we kept doing it when other people, you know, chose other things and did other things. We kept at it. But the reality is that most artists that I know of, they can tell you, man, they put some serious time into developing the skills that a lot of people think came naturally. You know what I mean?
I can see your point of view. It does take effort. So it's like your photography. I mean, anyone who does photography, you build up your skills, don't you? A number of years. If you own your skills, you become better. If not, you don't.
Yeah. It takes a certain amount of self-awareness to become better at a skill. If you're not aware enough to know that you can get better, then you won't get better. You need to kind of like, for me, I need to assess like, well, where am I failing? Or not maybe failing, but where could I be doing better? And I'm always trying to, you know, push that a little bit farther each time, a little bit farther.
Yeah. I see. I noticed that we've got quite a few of my moderators deleting channels at present because these live streams have become, you know, we're getting trolled this end. I don't know what it's like when you're doing live streams, but
I haven't done much lately, but
yeah,
I've been seeing it lately. It seems like there's an influx of trolls lately.
there is, because Pixie's channel last night, there was no end of trouble on there, you know, people coming in, and it looks like we've got it on the one-to-one show. And I did notice, I was looking at someone today, and they'd got like 800 and something likes and about 700 dislikes on a live stream channel that I just came across. I can't remember where it was, but I looked at it and I thought, that channel must be getting trolled as well.
No way.
Which really, you know, when you look at it, as you mentioned in the beginning, it's a community, and we've made a lot of friends on here, and you know, we have got a very nice community between us all. You know, like Crimson, Granny, Monster, yourself, Gail, Jeffy's World, Vlog from the Bog. There is a nice core of a good community there.
Oh, absolutely. I feel like all those people you mentioned and a few others that escape me at the moment, but you really feel like you're getting to know people on a personal level that surpasses even chat or other internet forums such as like Facebook or Instagram where you like somebody's picture. But here you're literally interacting with people in real time, behind the scenes, if you will, right?
Yeah. Because I mean, the more I do this one-to-one, the more I'm getting to know people, and I see you on a lot of the live streams that I go on as well. And we're all getting to know each other as people, as individuals, and as YouTube creators.
Yeah, and really that's what's brought me here. It's well, like I said, it's less some of the more common reasons such as financial gain, or because I don't even believe that's really possible.
Well, it is if you get up there into the millions of subscribers.
Yeah.
But so it's hitting the jackpot with something that will go viral, or if you can actually get to meet one of the big YouTube creators, isn't it?
And he gives you a hand up. Absolutely.
Yeah. Because I don't know whether you follow Casey Neistat at all, but he had that blind young lady with him on his last video, and a subscriber count shot through the roof after she'd been on his video.
I bet.
Yeah.
No, I don't follow a lot of big YouTubers, actually. Not anymore. I don't have time for it.
No. And this is it. So as the summer progresses, have you got any vacations booked in Canada or elsewhere in the world?
No, we're vacation-wise, we are strapped to the hilt. There is no flow here. I'm unemployed right now as a stay-at-home dad, while the wife focuses on school and her career. Which has been about a year now that we've been doing it this way, and it's actually working. We had issues prior to when we both worked, and the kids going to school and then getting sick. And with 3 kids, all of a sudden you could have one sick for a week, and as soon as that kid goes back to school, you got another kid going down sick. And when you have like a daycare, they don't take sick kids.
Yeah.
They'll call you right at work and be like, "Look, your kid's got a sniffle. He's got to go home." So jobs can't take that. Like, there's very few jobs out there that are going to take, if I got to miss a week because, one kid's out of school, and it just happened that way. And
as long as it's working for your family, Thorn, that's all you bother about, isn't it?
Yeah. So this is how it is, but there's not a lot of extra, that's for sure.
Yeah. So being a home dad, how do you find the day, because I mean, when you used to work, your days were full.
Yeah.
Is it harder work being a home dad than going out to work? That's what I'm saying.
I think at first I loved it to a point, because I worked a long time for a lot of years, and I did construction work. It's what my father did. It's what I was like raised into. So I've been doing construction since I was like 14. Like just as my father always either worked for himself or worked for somebody that he was equal with. So I've been working forever, and we just almost kind of burned out there for a while because of all the insanity of 3 little kids. And things are so much better now. The kids are starting to get a little bit older, and the financial stress has gone down and stuff. But we had a lot going on.
Yeah. So is there much work or unemployment in your area?
It's not as great as it has been in the past. I definitely would say that Canada also suffers just like a lot of the, America's hurting right now, and I don't really know about the UK, but I assume the whole world seems to be hurting a little bit right now.
Yeah, it is definitely.
Yeah.
I don't know whether you heard the latest news in the UK is that they're banning diesel and petrol cars in the year 2040. So in another 23 years' time, there's going to be no petrol or diesel cars.
Wow.
So, it's to meet the air quality.
Right.
So,
yep.
So we were discussing that. I was discussing that with a friend today at the hospital. That means that our government, the UK government, is going to lose roughly about £34 billion a year.
Right.
So what's the plans? So we were discussing things. So we came up, the only way they could get that revenue back is by charging people to drive on the roads.
Yes, tolls and yes.
Yeah. But it's not just that. It's what about the unemployment that something like that would create? Because, there's all those in the oil industry that's going to be affected because they're not going to be selling petrol and diesel. So there won't be a call for importing that or making it. So that doesn't just affect the UK, it affects other nations like such as yours, because we import oil from the US as well as the Middle East. So
I'm not a conspiracy guy. I try to stay away from conspiracy somewhat, but I have felt for a long time that everybody, like, our systems are broken.
Yeah.
The whole shebang. We keep nonstop. Do I hear somebody pointing at one part of the system and going, "That's broken"?
Yeah.
And I have another person pointing at a completely different part of the system and going, "That's broken." The whole thing seems to be broken, and revolution is what's going to happen.
Yeah. Because I feel for your young family. I look what's going to be available for them in the next 20, 30 years. It's not a nice thought, really.
Our governments, the way they're run over here, and I include America in that, it cannot continue the way it's being run right now. And the only thing that will change, it's not like the government's going to be like, "You know what, guys, we tried, it's not working. We're going to step down and we're going to let you guys try something different." That's not how that works. There's a revolution. First, the people get really upset, and then there's war. And it's not good. It's not a friendly, it's not going to be fun. There's going to be a horrible time period there somewhere.
Yeah.
Start to change for the better.
Excuse me, Thorn. I just like the comment Jeffy's Wells put on. We're going back to horsepower. I was just thinking that myself. Yeah, going back to how things were, where people were self-sufficient. Like with you, with your garden. I presume that you, with the garden that you are doing at present, you are fairly self-sufficient regarding vegetables, fruit.
No. I produce more than the average person for sure. Do I think that if the store turned off tomorrow, could I survive on what I produce? Not at current. And I produce hundreds of pounds of vegetables a year. But it wouldn't be one. Maybe I could. Maybe if I redid my cellar and really put in some effort, I could store better and I could produce a ton of veg. Would it be friendly and fun? No.
No, it would be hard work.
We're gonna, well, no, not just that. We're gonna have 800 pounds of tomatoes to eat because I grow tomatoes really well. Like,
Yeah.
but we're not gonna have a whole lot of like onions because onions don't grow very well for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So those are things that the variety of life really starts to dwindle when you say, okay, we're not going to buy this from the store. We're just going to survive off the garden. And you're so limited to time frame.
Yeah.
But it could be done if I had to. You know, my gardens are more about learning experience and just as something that I think should be part of your life anyway.
Yeah. So do I. So when you go fishing then, do you throw them back in or do you keep some to supplement your diet?
Oh, absolutely. I fish for food. But I adhere to all the laws and all the proper fishing requirements. I don't abuse that. I feel like, because I also fish for the sport of fishing.
Yeah.
So it's a double. It's not like, you know, it's all for food. It's also, I love to do it. So if they say this fish has to be this long and it's under a certain regulation, I'm going to follow that and abide by that. That's just who I am.
Yeah. And do you get a lot of salmon this time of year in the rivers?
Can't do salmon.
Can't do salmon?
Not in Nova Scotia. It's pretty well. You got to get a special license for it. It's expensive. In my local area, salmon are not very plentiful due to certain things that they've done to the rivers and different, like, we're not a huge province in some ways, right?
Yeah.
So they're very restricted. And each year our salmon are becoming much more restricted.
Well, which is surprising. So what species do you fish for then? Excuse me.
Right now I'm doing striped bass,
Yeah.
which they can get up to, 70 inches long. They're a really big fish. They run pretty well all year long, but certain times they run better than others. But I also, like I do, if I can, I live life, fish run at a certain time.
Yeah.
So if I'm on my game, which isn't always the case, sometimes work and because of the way the world is now, you can't always hit runs of fish if they only run for 2 weeks and I have to work those 2 weeks or whatever, then I don't get it. But we can start in April, which is they're called smelts.
Yeah.
And they run around the last snowfall, and you can catch 60 of them, and they're a small silverfish. Now you can use those for bait plus food. And then just after they stop running, so close to the end of April, there's a fish called the Gaspro, which is a larger silverfish. They're really bony, but if you had to, those you can catch by the thousands.
Yeah.
But they're really bony. But I catch those for bait. I use them for free so that I can go catch the big guys, right? But they stop running around the mid-May or something like that, and then anyway, it keeps going. There's shad that come in at the end of May. And they're large. They look like Gaspro, but they're a big fish. You can catch so many of those. And then that'll shut down. And there's also eel, where I go fishing the big striped bass. Right about now, you can catch eel like all day long. And I've never eaten them, to tell the truth.
Yeah, I've never had eel. I used to be a fish merchant in London. I used to do a fresh fish round from Grimsby, where I live.
Oh, that's cool.
A fishing port, or it used to be the largest fishing port in Europe, going back 15, 20 years ago, before we joined the EU. You could literally walk across the docks on trawlers going to Iceland, Norway, and places like that, but it's all gone. I used to sell cod, haddock, plaice, dover sole, lemon sole, halibut, trout, jellied eels, cockles, mussels, all sorts, but those days are gone from where I live now, and fish in this country is very, very expensive.
What a shame. Now, fish is really expensive here too.
Yeah.
I can't afford to really buy fish, except when it's on like a super sale, and usually that's only haddock because you know, you can't afford to buy halibut or anything like that at what, $25 a pound or whatever it is. That's what it's over here.
Yeah. Roughly about the same price over here, pound that.
Yep.
Halibut.
Scallops can run like on the high end. They can run up to almost $20 a pound. Scallops.
Yeah.
On the high end, right? But we are, and we're Nova Scotia. We're known for seafood. I mean, Newfoundland, it's like right over there, right? The Grand Banks and all that stuff. But seafood is just, it seems to be an expensive thing today.
Yeah. But at least you can go and catch a bit of what you want.
And that's true. And I was kind of raised that way too, that when the fish run, if you know when things are happening, you can self-provide somewhat.
Yeah.
You know, the world runs on a timer.
Yeah.
And it's always close to the same time. Like mackerel are running right now. I wanted to get out and catch some mackerel because a lot of people use them as bait fish, but they're a lovely fish.
Oh, eat. Yeah. I love smoked mackerel. Beautiful.
Yeah, that's a big thing here too.
Yeah.
Smoked mackerel.
You know, I noticed when you was talking to Steve that you mentioned that you keep chickens as well. Yeah. So have you got many chickens?
This year I'm down. I didn't do a lot. Usually I do. Usually I have a lot, and not here at my property. I will keep them at my parents' place. They kind of have they're out in the country in a little more area, and they have a kind of a chicken coop there. So we'll do, generally we do like 50 meat birds a year. So those are the big fat meat birds, but we don't feed them medicated food. We don't leave them locked in a cage. They get to walk around outdoors and eat grubs and all that stuff. Totally different animal from what you see on represented in TV in factory chicken lots and whatnot. Right now I have 7 layers, random breeds, just kind of the kids like to have them, so they're there.
Yeah. So that's interesting. I'm just having a look. You also like hiking, and you've got a name for that. You call that, is that the war room where you are filming from now?
Yeah, this is the man room, the war room. This is basically where Daddy keeps everything. The kids aren't really allowed to be in here because I have like knives and lighters and I mean, those are actually rules that have come from when they were really small.
Yeah.
You know, this is the room that I keep all the hunting gear, the outdoor gear, fishing hooks, survival stuff. You know, you guys don't need to be in here. The computer's also in here.
Yeah.
I do my editing in here. So yeah, it's pretty well. This is also my art studio.
I have noticed that. So
yeah, small house. We live in a very small house.
Yeah. So back to your photography, because I think you've really worked hard. You produce very, very good photographs. Are you going to pursue your hobby of photography a lot more than now? I think so.
I give the art a big run, and I'm not done with the art.
Yeah.
But I did last winter and the year before that. I really give the art a big push, and it's really hard to move art.
Mm.
It's actually quite difficult to move art. By the time you have it printed or published onto a different medium, if that's how you're going to do it, the cost that comes out of that and the shipping complications, it's really hard to do art as far as hand, you know.
Yeah.
And the amount of time that goes into a painting is ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, the photos take more time, I'm sure, than what a lot of people realize, because you do set and grade and like go through hundreds of photos and toss out hundreds of photos and work an hour. I've looked at a photo for 20 minutes to half an hour to 45 minutes, working the colors, and because I can't separate the background or get the effect that I want, I throw that away. I just spent all that time. Nope, I can't get it to work. It's done. Right?
Yeah.
It's gone.
We've just had a question from Random Life Productions. She wants to know if you can paint me or do a portrait of me. Oh,
I can definitely do a drawing.
What that on the wall?
I'm gonna have a smoke, Keith.
Yeah, well, that's all right. You know, you'll have to forgive him all my in the room. There's 10 of us in the room. He's doing a granny monster, smoking on camera.
Yeah, yeah. But
encouraging the younger generation to smoke.
No, don't smoke. It's a bad thing.
No, I you know, it is a bad thing. It's like drinking. If I had my way, all pubs and clubs would be banned. All people who smoke. No, I'm only kidding. You know.
Oh no, the band over here.
You know, I think
we're here now.
Start living a healthy life. You know, especially when you've got young children.
Mm-hmm.
I hope the children don't smoke or drink.
Oh, I'd kick my kid's ass. Oh yeah, that's the truth right there. I'm a fairly old-fashioned type. Like, for being a younger guy, everybody looks at me and they see a young guy, right?
Yeah.
But, I was raised by someone that was raised by his grandparents, and like they were like 80 and 90 when they raised him, and he was raised very old-fashioned, and that was kind of brought across to the way we were raised. And I was raised in the country too, so you were kind of like, it was a different way of growing up than what people are today, right?
Yeah, yeah. I noticed Granny Monster's just left a comment that she's doing better on the vape now, so I hope she keeps it up and she packs in. She kicks the habit of smoking.
I tried the vape. I got one. Yeah. It kills me. I know that I've seen some stuff online but it, like a little huff of that and I'll be coughing my guts out.
Well, yeah.
So I don't think we've got it figured out just yet how that works right.
Yeah.
And we have the stuff that doesn't have nicotine in it. It's just the flavored stuff, so it's not quite doing the trick.
Yeah. So how old's your oldest lad, Thorn?
11.
11. Oh, so yeah, he is a bit too young then. So is he into art or anything like that? You know, YouTube in any way?
No, the oldest boy is personality-wise, he is very, I'd like to say OCD. He's not literally OCD, but my oldest boy is very numbers. He's very, like, he is the bomb at math. He is, but he's not great with people. He's a literal thinker as opposed to like an artistic thinker. And you can see it right from a child. Now his younger brother, who is 9, I believe, he's much more artistic. He's much better with people. He's much more flamboyant. It's a totally different personality, right? And then my daughter, the youngest child, is the boss.
Yeah, aren't they always?
Oh man, she's mean. She got 2 older brothers, and she's been taking shit her whole life, and she don't take it no more. Let me tell you. She's got some sense, and I don't blame her. Yeah, she's a tough little girl.
Yeah. Oh. So, what have you got planned for your channel in the coming months then?
Well, we're going to keep on keeping on pretty well the same way as we are. We don't like to plan. I'm not a big planner. I do a lot of stuff on the fly, which makes the cell phone for me such an awesome utility, because I can't tell you enough how much I am out somewhere doing something and I did not bring my great big giant camera with all the big tripods and all that stuff. And I can just, oh man, pull that camera out and, like, you know, and get that shot. So we have another picture photo reel or whatever coming out tomorrow.
Oh, that'll be good. I look forward to seeing that then.
Yeah, just a few that we threw together. I think we keep them generally around 10 to 12 photos in a reel. Oh, just hold on.
Yeah, that's all right.
That's okay. Huh? Nope. There was nobody.
Well, that is a nice man cave. Yeah, I like that place of yours.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
And you've got them trained to knock as well. How did you manage that?
That's a brand new thing. And I think part of it is they're scared to be live.
Yeah.
kind of know that, like, I tell them, right? Like, listen, I'm going to be live. If you need anything, obviously, don't hesitate. I'm right here. And they've got a crap ton of stuff that they do right now. It's summertime, and she's out there on the iPad clicking away some game, and then she'll run across. We have a couple that live right next door, and they have a little girl about her age, and so this summer's been great. Like I said, as the kids are getting older, things are starting to get a little easier around here.
Yeah, well, they do. You know, I mean, I've got to the great grandchildren stage now, because all the grandchildren are all grown up, all got partners or married. My daughter, she's 53. My son's 47. So, you know, my grandchildren, they're both married now. So hopefully I have got one grandchild from them.
That's job complete.
The other one's only being married. So hopefully we'll get some more.
Job complete. You got grandkids?
Yeah, and great grandkids. I've got 5 great grandchildren as well.
Bonus from here on out.
Yeah, and the eldest one's what, 12 years, 13. He's 13, yeah. The eldest great grandchild is 13, and the youngest is 14, 15, 16 months.
That's great. That's
yeah,
great.
Oh, it is, because I love them, because you can pick them up and you go, there you are, ma'am, give them back.
Yeah, can't wait for that.
Now, I wish I could have done that when I had the children, when they were young and playing up. I wish I could have gone, there you are.
Yeah, take them for a little bit. What?
Yeah, because, I mean, children are very hard work when they're younger. As they grow up now, it's like the 13-year-old. He spends most of his time in his bedroom playing PS3 or Xbox games or computer games. They don't mix like when I was a child. We used to go out a lot.
Yeah.
like you do, hiking, walking, fishing, playing sport. Nowadays, children don't seem to do that. And I blame the parents, because the parents don't seem to bother with the children. You know, I mean, I don't know what it's like in your part of the world, but
no, it's the same everywhere, I think.
You get both parents going to work straight. Within a year of the child being born, the child's placed in a nursery or a play school or whatever, and they're missing the 3 or 4 years when a child needs the parents.
Yeah, and you know, I hear a lot today. You hear it a lot all the time. You can't survive without 2 parents working. That's a misconception. That's a misconception. Our problem is, and I'm here to tell you this in all honesty, our problem is that what we've decided is a necessity to our lives is a misconception.
Yeah.
We don't need so many things that we think we need. A lot of the things that we do with the kids, because we don't have a lot of money, and I would argue with anyone to say that we do a lot with our children without money.
Yeah.
Because to go outside, you don't need money.
No, it's free. You know,
and a lot of national parks and stuff are free.
Yeah.
Go walk outside, go to a trail somewhere. You can Google everything now. I'll spend time on Google Maps or whatever, just looking at roads that go into a dirt road or something, and it's at a valuable place that I can take the kids and walk. You have access to so many things online now that can get you out into these free areas that you can go do tons of things. There is certain things, there's investment, but there's a certain of one-time investment. We have a canoe. We've had a canoe for years. I think we got it on sale at Canadian Tire. It's not a fancy canoe. It's like a Coleman cheap canoe. It was like $600 on sale. Had it for years. You know, that $600 has paid for itself in family events over the years that you couldn't even put a price tag on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, fully.
So, I mean, there's a ton of things that you can do with your kids, because your kids, and this is what I think some of us forget. I know I forgot for a long time. Your kids are just seeing all this stuff for the first time.
Mm.
You know, we've been to the lake, we've canoed down the river, we've been to the beach or whatever. But in a lot of cases, our little kids, this is either brand new or they've only done it once or twice before. And we lose sight of that, I think, as adults. Well, that would be boring. I don't want to do that. Like, by the time we packed up and but they've never done it. It's mind blowing to them.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I wish we, when I was a child or when I was raising my children, I wish we'd lived in a country, because, all right, I live by the River Humber, the mouth of the North Sea, but I much prefer going to the country, going to forests, lakes, streams, than beach holidays. I mean, every time I've been to the States, all I normally do when I used to holiday in the States was fly in somewhere, hire a car, and just drive. And we found some absolutely lovely places off the beaten track. When I did Canada, I flew into Toronto, and we drove halfway across Canada. I did 2,500 miles, and we came across some wonderful country, wilderness. I mean, I love Canada. I've never been to your area of Canada, so
yeah, we're Nova Scotia. We are a tourist town. We are, this is a small province. We survive off tourism. If you want to go to a place that's absolutely naturally beautiful, we are one of those locations. But what I also want to say, and this is another reality for us as people, as we got caught up in the whole want to go to Cuba. Never really been anywhere. Me and my wife married young, had kids young. We don't have money, but that stuff seems somewhat unattainable at times. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because of the price tag associated. But what you realize when you start assessing like what to do with no money is that in your local areas, and I really don't care where anybody lives, I'm sure that in your local areas there's some amazing sights to be seen that we totally neglect, that we totally forget that, hey, we probably live in a beautiful place to somebody else.
Yeah.
Like, to me, the little town, the Mahone Bay video that I did, I've been to that town a million times. I've sat in that exact bar a million times. I've looked out over the pier a million times. It never really struck me to ever video record it. And it didn't take a whole lot. I did it all on my cell phone,
Yeah.
But it was received quite well, because not everybody lives in an area that has a little fishing community like that.
No. I mean, I love that. I've watched a few of your. We've gone out on hiking trips and to other places, and I think, I wish you'd do a lot more of those, because, I want to see your country. I've seen the tourist parts of Canada, and I've seen a lot of wilderness in Canada.
Yeah.
It's like London. I mean, I used to work down in London selling fish, and I've worked in quite a few, quite a lot of the areas. But when Random Life Productions went round Highgate Cemetery, never been round there, and I thought, what a lovely place,
really cool.
There, and something like that always interests me. I love to see historical places,
well, absolutely. I mean, you guys are over there. To us, Canadian, like, I've never been to Europe.
No.
I've seen it in movies. I've read it in books. I have an understanding of most parts of Europe. But I don't know what it smells like. There's something missing there. And it's like you said, me going to a small town, you want to see like a part of my area that only a local could provide, really.
Right, yeah. Because see, if I came to your area, I'd probably miss that town because you'd think, oh, there's nothing of interest here. But there is, because the most interesting thing in life are people.
Yeah.
We all love meeting new people and getting to know new people.
Yeah.
Because although we're all the same, we all come from different backgrounds, and
absolutely,
and you know, that's what makes everybody interesting.
Absolutely. I'm fascinated with all parts of the world. I'm a fairly open-minded person. I hold no real prejudice against anyone for anything. I'm fascinated by the world. I truly am. So videos from all over, they may seem not so awesome. Like I said to you in a live stream, I want to see the pub you're always going to.
Yeah.
I want to see the pub. I want to see a British pub. You know what I mean? Like, legitimately.
Yeah, well, I'm going out for a meal tomorrow night because we usually go out Friday night. I'll take the camera this time. To me, you know, because that's the only problem when you go to places like that. If somebody objects to being filmed, then you've got problems, and people do object.
Yeah, it is kind of a strange thing too when you're in a public area and you're holding and that's the other reason that the cell phone is slick.
Yeah.
People don't get weirded out as much depending on how you're holding. I mean, don't hold it out like you, but you know, you can hold a cell phone in a way that you're not really recording people either. You're recording the area that where you're at. You know, I tend to, if I do stuff like that, I tend to try to cut people out because I didn't ask them if they want to be in it. But if something scrolls by quickly, you know, you're in a public domain, so.
Yeah. Well, it's like I follow a channel called Chris the Hobby Guy from Staten Island, New York, and he often goes in these restaurants and he films in there. I don't know whether American people don't mind that, but over here in England, a lot of English people are very reserved, don't like being on camera. I mean, I remember I filmed. This was when I was in the video business. I got asked to film an orchestra playing that they had to do a big theatre here in Grimsby, and the conductor of the orchestra asked me to film it. So I was doing it as a freebie job. I wasn't getting paid, but because just one parent didn't want a child being filmed, I couldn't film it.
Right. You know? I wonder if that is something to do with the age level as well. Like,
well, they were like 13 to 18, the orchestra, but because one parent didn't want their child on camera, he had to cancel it, and he was very disappointed.
Oh,
you know?
what a shame.
But you know, that happens. You know, I mean, it's like I used to film at the local amateur theatre. I used to do all their plays. I've got about 80 plays on disc, all freebies, you know, because I used to use a 3 or 4 camera setup with a crane and everything, and because they're copyrighted, they were done. The cash used to buy them off me, you know, for $5 each, and I can't put any of them on YouTube. I got, you know, as I say, I've got a lot there, and I think to myself, if anything happens to me, they're just going to be thrown away, and it's to me.
Sorry, some of you could put on and not monetize them, couldn't you?
No, because they're copyrighted to the producers, the writers of the plays, and they're all well-known plays that have been on stage and everything like that. And it's like I've got a lot of shots on Cine that I've got to put onto DVD or upload to the computer if I ever get round to it, of the old fishing industry. I've got a lot of photographs, but I also got a lot of Cine film as well, because I used to have a 16mm in the old days.
That's really cool. We have a lot of slides, I guess. They're like the little cards. And they came from my wife's father, who was military his whole life.
Yeah.
And he was stationed in Egypt. He was stationed in Germany. He was stationed all over the world, Alaska.
Yeah.
And he passed away 4 or 5 years ago, cancer. And of course, we got a lot of the stuff, a lot of his things, right? And man, we have boxes of slides from all over the world, and we got to get them switched over, right?
Yeah. Because you want to make them into a show, put them on YouTube, you know, because it's things like that when anything happens, they get chucked out, they get forgotten about, and that's history. It's, you know, I mean, it's like
we're like pack rats or whatever, man. When we were so worried that things were going to get lost, and I think a lot of things did get lost and get chucked out. There's a lot of heartbreak in a situation like that, and a lot of sorrow. And you know, when you have some people just want stuff gone, like, you know, I don't want the memories. I just want it out of my house. I want all that stuff gone. And so we kept everything we could, but yeah, you miss a lot of stuff. I'm very sentimental. I'm very sentimental. I'm very what's the other, nostalgic. I get nostalgic over everything. So
well, this is it, you know. And I mean, it's like my time of life. I often think I should do my life story on film now, on video, because my parents didn't have that opportunity, and I could leave that for my great grandchildren, that they can put it on the TV or whatever media will be around in 30 or 40 years time, and actually see me as a person and get to know me as a person. That's why, you know, I put as much as I can up to YouTube, because then if anything does happen to me, they can put it on and they can see me as a person. You know, it's like live streams that, you know, unless YouTube goes out of business, which I can never see, media will only improve, but it will still be around.
Yeah. And if anything ever happened, your kids can take it off YouTube, keep it personally in their own. You know what I mean? That's also, we all know how to get stuff off YouTube. But I agree, and it's something I've thought of, and I'm young, but at the same time, we don't know. Car accidents, anything. Do you know what I mean? Like anything, you could be gone tomorrow. So yeah, it is kind of nice to have a family, and that's with the vlogging too. It almost makes it like a family diary of things that we did, you know, during those times that you can go back and look at.
Yeah, and how do you find the art of vlogging? Does it come naturally to you, or are you still working on it?
No, I don't think it comes naturally at all. I'm not really a people person. I might be hard to
now, I find that strange, because you are so natural to talk to. You seem at ease. I've never seen you lost for words.
No, I don't know. I'm pretty good one-on-one as well.
Yeah,
I'm definitely better one-on-one. I have social anxiety, so large groups, I can panic. Not on a physical level where I gotta like freak out, but I generally but leave rooms when they get crowded. I shy away from large crowds. I'm not a big party guy. I don't go over to people's homes and get drunk on the weekends and hang out all weekend. We're supposed to be doing a big camping trip this weekend, actually. I just forgot.
Oh, that'll be good.
We're supposed to. Hopefully that works out. It is supposed to rain Saturday, and it's supposed to be with all the kids. So,
if you go, will you be filming it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh. Yep. I film, you know, I never guarantee that I'll get it all. Yeah. I never guarantee that it'll be like an amazingly put together video.
Yeah.
I will start out with good intentions, and I will film until all my equipment fails me.
Yeah. I don't blame you. But I'm like you, Thorn, you know, that I am a very shy person, although people don't think I am.
Yeah.
As long as I know my subject and I do my research, I can feel very confident. It's like I can knock on doors canvassing for fish rounds or any other business, and as long as I know what I'm talking about, I'm okay. But you get me in a large room of people like yourself, and I would shy away. I'd sit in the corner and not talk to anybody.
That's me. I'm not a big people person, really. Not in large volumes.
Yeah, but in a small community like we've got on here, I will have me say, but I'll often sit in and say nothing.
Yeah, yeah, and I think a part of it is starting to know people too. You know, generally, you won't know I'm there until I get to know you.
Yeah, yeah.
If that makes any sense. I will, you know, if you're a YouTuber, I've probably been in your live streams and said nothing. And that's me getting a feel for what type of person you are. Because that's important to me too, right? It's really important that everybody that I talk to, all you guys out there, Randolin, Vinny G, Crimson Fantasy, all of you, you know, I think you're good people. Because if I didn't, you wouldn't see me.
You wouldn't be part of the community. Yeah, yeah. Fully agree.
Right. You wouldn't, right?
Yeah,
That's just how I am, right? It's nothing to me. There's tons of people. There's tons of people on YouTube, right? I'm just here for a good time. I try to convey that I'm a non-threatening person. I'm here for a good time. I'm a good person, non-psychopath. We're just trying to enjoy life and you know, kind of bring people along. I've always felt that some of the things that we do on a daily basis, or maybe not a daily basis, but a yearly basis, are things that other people would enjoy.
Yeah, yeah.
And that kind of inspired my channel. Some of it was, I read a comment one time on one of the bigger YouTubers, and I was going through his stuff, and it was an outdoor bushcrafter type guy, and he goes on these big long camping trips. And one of the comments was, you know, and he has hundreds of thousands of subscribers, but one of them stood out as, I'm in a wheelchair and I can no longer get to places like this. And I can vicariously live through your videos. And I appreciate that so much. And that inspired me greatly, because I was like, you know what? I do a ton of things that are just, you know, in some ways inspirational, whether it's on top of a mountain or down some river that's way out in the backwood. So I can take some of these people with me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You've just hit a raw nerve there. I'm sorry about that. Because do you know about my grandson?
No.
He went out on Saturday night.
I think I heard about this in the live stream.
Yeah, yeah. And he lost his keys. His girlfriend was asleep in bed. So like a fool, there was an open window 25 foot up, been raining. He climbed up to the window, slipped, and he broke his back, and he'll never walk again. So when you just mentioned that about being in a wheelchair, he's going to be in a wheelchair for the rest of his life, and he's only 33 years old. But it's as I said that to his brother, the poker player, that he, at least he's got his life. He can move his upper body. Being in a wheelchair nowadays shouldn't restrict you if you want to make a life for yourself, because you look at the Olympics, the Paralympics, they're playing cricket, they play tennis, they play basketball, they can go swimming. There's a lot of things now that people with disabilities can actually do.
In the end, it's your mind that matters.
Yeah. You
have your mind, you will adjust. You will, you know, I've had friends in the past that have gone through situations where life altering. We are an amazing creature.
Yeah.
We are so much more than what any of us think we are. And it in the end, as long as your mind is strong and you have people that support you, you're going to be fine.
Yeah.
It'll work out. It'll life throws some curveballs.
Well, that's what I've said to him. You know, that he's got to be positive. Life is all about having fun, about being close to people, being close to families, and enjoying yourself. As you say, you don't have to have a lot of money, because I remember with my children, one of the things my parents said to me, instead of spending a fortune on a game or on a toy, just get a blanket and make a tent and play with them, and you will get a better relationship with your children or with anybody by doing the simple things in life. And you know, that can be bird watching, butterflies, fishing, anything that gets people out into nature, because
life is about experience.
Yeah, as you said in the beginning of this conversation, that how many different shades of green due to sunlight can you or the eye actually see? Millions. And you think how calming the colour green or the colour blue are in life.
Yeah. And life is amazing. Life is amazing. And in such a unpredictable way, in that I'll tell you one thing, a lot of my pictures, 90%, 80% of the pictures that I have on YouTube right now, the flowers in them are weeds.
Yeah. So
it's a weed that was either on a trail or was somewhere, and I took a picture of it and I manipulated the color. Because what I'm trying to do with my photos right now anyway is I'm trying to get people to look at life from a different point of view.
Yeah.
And by subtracting the natural colors away and adding vibrant, almost unearthly. If you look at almost all the pictures that I've released, they will have a very unearthed color, a very extreme contrast. And that's to provide a very, I'm taking a picture that normally you would not look twice at.
Yeah.
Would scroll right over top of it, and I'm trying to make you look at that from a different point of view. And like I said, a lot of it's like weeds or a trail that just goes into the darkness, and then you can play with the color. They're very simple pictures, but I'm trying to make you look at them different.
Yeah, which is very interesting. So have you also got a Flickr channel then, Thorn, or do you just put your pictures up here on YouTube?
I'm running a few on Instagram. I do not on a Thorn, it's on my personal Instagram. I haven't made a Thorn Draven Instagram yet.
Yeah.
But I will actually, I think, eventually, because my Instagram right now is, I won't say it's blowing up, but pictures do well on Instagram.
Yeah.
It seems to be a platform that accept pictures very well. So I'm doing basically catalogs of 4 at a time, 4 to 5 pictures at a time, and uploading them. Because one thing I noticed that if you upload them all at once, they only look at the first one. So
yeah, it's the same with a video. If you upload every day of the week, then you will only get a few views on them. I think the best way is every 2 or 3 days, because
I try.
If you're regular, then people will look at your videos. You know, it's like,
I think regular is very important.
Yeah, it's like live streaming. You can get too much of the live streaming because people get fed up, because you're getting the same people in your room, whereas you want a few different people all the time. That's why I thoroughly enjoy these one-to-ones, because I'm meeting people, you know, on a one-to-one basis and getting to know them personally.
Absolutely.
The hardest part is getting in touch and getting people to do it.
Yeah, I know. It is a bit of a challenge, isn't it?
Yeah, because I mean, I emailed someone the other day who had never been in a live stream, and I've asked him if he will do a one-to-one, and he got back to me and says yes, but I don't know how to do it. So can you give me a bit of training? But I can't get in touch with him until he befriends me on Google Plus. Right. I follow him, but he don't follow me, so I can't. I've sent him a message, and it says he hasn't accepted it yet.
Yeah, Google Plus is complicated, really. More complicated than it had to be, I think.
Yeah. So and he's a very interesting guy. He's from Ireland. Call him Patrick Conland, I think. He's a droner, but he's his videos that he produces are very, very good. So I thought he's never been on a live stream, so I'm trying to get him as the next one, so we can all get to know him and maybe sub to his channel. I never ask people to sub to each other. I always think if you like a channel, if you look at it and you like the content, you will sub.
Absolutely. It's kind of implied, right? Like,
yeah.
I don't really ask anyone. To me, I'm not going to ask anyone to sub to me.
No.
It just seems like well, I'm just not going to do that. Like, I don't know. It's a little degrading. Like, listen, sub if you want to sub. Don't sub if you don't want to. I don't, I generally, it depends on the night, but if I'm in an advantageous mood, I will sub to everyone in a room anyway. But what I will do, I used to say I don't unsub to anyone. And generally I don't, especially if that person's a part of our community.
Yeah.
I see them around. I don't care what your content is. If I see you in live streams and I'm talking to you, I'll sub to your channel. Absolutely. Don't necessarily mean I love your content, but I might like you as a person.
Yeah. I'm the same. I'll sub to most of those who I go on to a live stream to.
Yeah.
But if I don't say I'm going to watch all their videos, the ones that I do like, I always do the notification, so I'm always notified. And I'll always check, like the ones in our community, I watch everything that everybody puts up there. But some of the others now, I haven't got time to watch every bit of their videos.
No, it's a lot, right? It's a lot.
Yeah, because this last week I must have subbed to 25 people through live streaming, and I think to myself, I look at the content and I think, yeah, it's good, but I haven't got the time, because you're putting up 20, 25, 30-minute videos, and I haven't got the time now to watch.
Sometimes you can put up 4 videos in a day.
Yeah.
That's a hard rule. I do 1 video a day.
Yeah.
Now, the only time I'll ever break that rule is if I do a live stream, and say in the morning, and then I may put a picture video out in the afternoon, because I kind of see live streams and videos as a little bit of a different thing. Yeah. But other than that, you should never see 2 videos from me in the same day. Usually, if I'm going to do something like that, I'll make a part 2 and I'll release it the next day.
Yeah.
And then, and that's what I did with the Mahone Bay video. I put one out one day. I had the other one ready to go. I could put them both out at the same time, but I space them out a day. I do try to do content, I'm going to say every day, but that's not a hard rule.
Yeah.
I try, I would say I'm close, an average of 5 days a week. But I probably am on a live stream the other 2 days in someone else's live or chat. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm the same. I can't say that I've got a lot of content filmed, because I always get up every morning and I always think, I'm going to go out with my camera today and go and produce something, go and make something, take some shots, take some photographs. And then the wife will get up and she'll go, should we go to a garden centre, or should we go shopping, or should we go see some friends? So I get sidetracked.
Yeah.
Because she's not into my hobby.
Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah.
It's very hard. So, because she'll always go to me, oh, I'll come to a nature reserve. You can have an hour, and then we'll go and have a look around the shops. And I go, well, can I have 3 hours and we'll just have an hour looking around the shops? And she'll go, no.
Yeah.
So that's a major problem, isn't it? Because
no, I get that. I'm lucky. The wife is into the nature thing, at least. Yeah. She likes YouTube. She doesn't mind me YouTubing. She actually finds it quite funny, right? Yeah. Because she's looking at it from a different perspective, that I'm just who she knows me very well, and I'm a pretty goofy feller, and and to see some of the responses that we've got from some of our lady followers, she doesn't bother her. She thinks it's funny. My wife thinks that's just the funniest thing because she knows it kind of like makes me turn a little red.
Yeah.
Right. Because I'm not a big flamboyant type person in reality. Right. I'm not a big like sex puppet or whatever. You know what I mean? I'm not a boy toy by any means. And it's just funny to us that kind of happened that way on YouTube.
Yeah, especially that young Hawaiian young lady called Ranelin.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, I love her channel and I love her. I think she's brilliant at everything that she does.
Oh yeah, Ranelin's awesome. We really appreciate Ranelin and how much we see her on everybody's live streams and just a great supporter of the community. Not to mention, you know, my channel, but just everybody's channel. Yeah,
yeah, she really is, you know, and I mean, you know, at least Steve's had his had a one-to-one with Ranelin. I've got to do a one-to-one with Ranelin as well.
That's right.
Sometime, but I do want to get more into the community as well through these one-to-ones because there's a lot of people out there at the moment.
I think Vinny G would be a great guy to interview too.
I've done him as a one-to-one. Haven't you seen it? Yeah,
go back. I must have missed that one. Yeah,
he's in my playlist. Yeah, brilliant guy, Vince. Absolutely brilliant. I thoroughly enjoyed my chat with him.
I kind of just got to know Vinny G over the last little while with some of his live streams I've been watching, and brilliant guy. Like, and not in a pretentious way, which I appreciate because I don't take to pretentiousness very well. No. I'm a fairly, not to toot my own horn, but I'm a fairly intelligent person.
I'll tell you what though, Thorn. I didn't realise until was it today or yesterday he was doing a live stream, and I can't remember who was on it now, but he started talking in French.
Who did?
Vinny. Because
French?
Yeah, because he is partly he's got Belgian French blood in him, so he knows a bit of French.
That's awesome.
Yeah, which I didn't know until was he in somebody's live stream and he made a comment and he wrote a bit of French, and I looked it up on Google, so I know it was definitely French. So I thought, whoa, brilliant, you know. And I didn't get that information out of him because I didn't know. So it's like Gail, Random Life Productions, because I got that phone call halfway through my conversation with her, I've got to do another one-to-one with her sometime.
Yeah. Absolutely. And, you know, I think as you get to know people better over time, the one-to-one then becomes much more entertaining or more involved because, like, we're starting to know these people on a personal level. We're starting to know the things that might make them blush a little bit or whatever, right? So I think, as we get to know, doing an interview over again has validity in itself. Absolutely.
Yeah, because that's what I thought. In another year's time, I'm going to redo me one-to-ones with all the ones who I've done.
Yeah, that would be cool.
And that'll be good.
Yeah. Show. I got another thing you cares I wanted to bring up. I'm watching a show called American Ripper. Have you heard of this? It's brand new.
No.
They're thinking that Jack the Ripper was an American named, I can't remember his name, of course, but he was America's first serial killer. And they're going through the show now. They're about halfway through, but the dates as to when this man left America and went to the UK line up with Jack the Ripper perfectly. And when Ripper stopped doing his murders, he was when this guy apparently went back to the United States. So it's pretty creepy. It's pretty cool because I know you guys like Jack the Ripper is a big thing in the UK.
Just excuse me a minute. Jeff as well says, where are they now? Where are the episodes? They're all in the playlist, on the one-to-one playlist. After tonight, there'll be 17 on there. There's 16 at present. So if you want to go back and look at any of them, because I have got better. I think I've got better, and I'm not pushing my own trumpet. I am learning every one-to-one that I do not to interrupt who I'm interviewing when they're talking.
I think that's something that we all need to learn for live streams, period. If you go into somebody else's live stream, this is happening a lot. There's a certain what would like etiquette to a live stream that we're not all quite right on yet, but you got to be, you know, let people speak. Like, and it's not always easy, and you're going to cut people off because it's not like sitting in a room and you can, like, you know, it's not the same thing. But
do them again in one. Yeah. I'll do that, Martin. I meant that for your title for your one-to-one when you do them again in 1 year's time. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'll do that then.
You could do Jeffy's World.
Yeah, I've interviewed Martin, and that was an hard one. I mean, he's a brilliant guy, Martin, but I'm not a gamer, and I didn't know what to talk to him about, because the one thing that I've learned doing one-to-ones is if you can get people talking about their interests,
yeah,
I'm learning something. Me viewers are learning something about that person.
Content for your live stream. Essentially,
yeah,
like, these people are going to talk about things you like.
Yeah, because, you know, when I was looking at what I could talk to you about, I didn't want to talk about the same things that Crimson Fantasy talked about, because his style is entirely different to mine.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And I'm pleased he started doing the one-to-ones, but he seems to have held up a minute or two, you know, because I've read on the chat that he hasn't been very well the last few days. So, but
I seen him drop in. I haven't seen Crimson in a while.
Yeah, he's had a fever or something, so he hasn't been around. But I just hope that he does get back to do the one-to-ones, because I'd love to see a one-to-one with Granny Monster.
Yeah, and you know, he's a Crim's great guy. Good times. We all have a blast. I just love the whole. It's kind of funny. The UU Cares are doing the live streams that I'm liking right now, because you guys pull in everybody, and it's like it's this big community, and you're all talking and sitting around chatting with people all over the board. And I find a lot of the American chat or of our, at least the community I'm involved in, they're not really doing that much. It seems like I find right now the American YouTube community is really pulled in. Like, there seems to be something going on. It could be just summer, could be just me, but it does seem like part of the community right now is kind of pulled back a bit. I'm not seeing the faces that I see all the time, you know.
Yeah, but as you said, it's the summertime, so a lot of people go away, vacation. You've got the children.
It's a busy
on their vacation, so people haven't got the time to sit around in front of the computer and doing the live streaming or vlogging or whatever. So it's a case of, as soon as the dark nights come, the autumn comes, then you tend to get a lot more content from people.
I think she's going to ramp up again. Absolutely.
Yeah. So we've been on for about an hour and 20 minutes. So because I don't want to exhaust the conversation, the viewer count's gone down from 12 down to 3 now. So I appreciate your coming into my one-to-one room. I've enjoyed the chat that we've had tonight, Thorn, and it's been nice seeing one of your children. I know I've seen them on the hiking films, but you know, it was nice, and I appreciate everybody coming in. And Novice Quadcopters has just come in from New York, and he says hello. We've had Ranel in all night. She stuck because she was the first one in, I think, and she stuck with the hour and 20 minutes.
Stayed right through. You're a trooper, Ranel, and we love you. Jeffy's thrilled. You're the bomb, buddy. I've been loving your content lately. Yeah,
love you all together. We've had Monica in. We've had Gail, she's been in. We've had Pixie's channel in. I'll try and remember everyone. and mention you in the comments tomorrow morning when I get up. But I appreciate you all staying with us for as long as you did do. And we'll see you on the next one-to-one. And stay on. I'll talk to you for a while until you're ready to go. So good night, everybody. And it's good night from Thorn as well.
Have a good one.